This is Trent and Alex. Sorry I missed your call. Please leave your name and number. Thanks. Bye-bye.
The Love Boat. I don't know the words, but this is the Valentine's edition of the Please Don't Call Me podcast. When we first celebrated Valentine's, we didn't even have cell phones. You had to use the phone with the long cord, and you had to go into a whole nother room if you wanted to have some privacy. That's how long we've been married. That's how long we've been Valentine's. Who am I speaking of, you say? Well, we have the couples podcast tonight. So on this side of the world in South Florida is Natalie. Say hi, Natalie.
Hey, everybody.
And Trent. I'm usually here. And then over there in Athens, Georgia, Alex and Ben. Say hi, Alex and Ben.
Hello.
Hi.
Can't just wave, Ben. This is an audio version of the
Hi.
podcast.
I use my words.
So speaking is necessary. So anyway, we're going to do this again. Alex comes up with all the good ideas. We're doing a Valentine's Day special podcast, and we have a rip-roaring show ready for you.
Yes, we're very excited. Happy Valentine's Day. Before we start, Dad, I think you have an apology to make. I feel like almost every episode you have an apology to make.
That's true. It's common because facts don't really matter. We're not interested in being right. So I got fact checked. Actually, I got actually girled. Somebody said, I'm going to be actually girl. And it was Tracy, an old classmate of mine from back in the day. She said, actually, the movie Groundhog was not filmed in Dixon, Illinois. It was filmed in Woodstock, Illinois. So I got straightened out on that. But that I appreciate that. That's how we know that people are really locked in and listening. Mm-hmm. We should have a falsehood in every show. That way we're assured that people will listen. So we're going to mess something up every show. Be listening. We should come up with a prize. If we get fact checked, somebody would get. It's got to be something to do with phones.
We might.
You have an idea. What do you think it could be?
Need some merch.
Yeah, merch.
Yeah. I thought you could make like a "Please Don't Call Me" pop socket. Do people still use those? I don't.
I haven't seen a pop socket in a while, but I would use it.
I think a fanny pack would be appropriate for our show that you could carry your phone in. That'd be awesome.
That does sound
right. Fanny pack.
I do.
All right, let's get down to it. Hearts are in the air. Love is in the air. Let's talk Valentine's Day, Alex.
All right. Do you guys remember your first Valentine's Day together? What you did?
Oh, the first Valentine's Day? I don't think
that
so.
might be. That was a long time ago. That might be too much to ask.
We had a Valentine's Day where we just knew each other. We weren't dating. Okay. And then the next Valentine's Day was 1 month before we got engaged.
Oh,
and I do remember that because you bought me a really pretty bracelet.
There we go. I bought her a really pretty bracelet. Yep. Yeah. Went down to the B Sandfields at the corner of Alpine and Riverside.
You did.
Got her a bracelet.
That's awesome. Ours, I forgot I think we made dinner together. That was the first time we ever cooked together. And then we loved going to the beach because we lived in South Florida. And so we loved going to the beach. And normally it was great. We'd gone swimming at night before at the beach. It was great. Just the week before we'd actually gone swimming at the beach at night. And it was really scary, but awesome. And so he wanted to do that again. And we went, do you remember this?
No.
Oh, and it was so cold and windy that we were sitting on the beach, wrapped in a beach towel, so cold. Thankfully I think we wore, I think we had sweats on, we weren't even in our swimsuits. We were so cold and we're trying to enjoy it and let it be a romantic night. And we were just so cold. And then he told me I was going to meet his parents the next day.
Wow.
With no warning. So
they're already coming in town.
Yeah, but you didn't tell me that. You were just by the way, my parents are coming tomorrow. Surprise. But
it's tough to be romantic when your heart rate is in the low 40s because
yeah.
Down, so
yeah, it was it was memorable. But what about I would love to hear about your guys' first date because this is kind of a famous story.
It was in the summer, and I'm a fan. We could do a whole podcast on ice cream sandwiches. That's the greatest. It's a sandwich, but it's ice cream with a cookie or cookies on the outside. So I like ice cream sandwiches. So we went down to the corner gas station and got a package of ice cream sandwiches. That was the excuse to go somewhere and have a date. So we bought them, brought them back to my parents' house, and I'll let you continue because what happened for me was really rather simple. I walked into the house. Natalie came. I probably let you in first, but Natalie went in the house. I followed her in, and then I said, "Hey, why don't you go introduce yourself to my family?" And I went downstairs, and I don't know what I did down there. But
It was his grandparents'
it was a lot of people.
60th
Yeah.
wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And so his mom is one of 6 children. His dad, well, no, it was just your mom's side of the
Yeah.
family. So his mom, one of 6, and everybody was in town, all the aunts and uncles and cousins.
Yeah.
And he walks in and he goes, "Hey, go in the living room and meet everybody." And he proceeded to go down to where his room was.
I
And
probably had to freshen up. I needed a different shirt.
but there I am standing in the living room with, I hadn't met anybody.
There's a
I'm
real
just
good
like,
chance I got ice cream sandwich on my shirt.
So that was the first date.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
mean,
people were starting to realize, was that pre-Siberia or post?
it was pre.
So yeah, it probably wasn't even a real date. We were just hanging out, but thinking we might be more than friends.
Yeah.
But Natalie, did everyone start singing and watching home videos on this date?
No, they did not. Is there a story there, Ben?
Oh, okay.
You were there,
So
Mom.
I'm hearing the story, and it's a little embarrassing. Like you have to meet everyone by yourself. I just remember the first time meeting all of Alex's family, and I go over to you guys' house. It was a nice day. I think it was Trent's birthday. We were there for Trent's birthday, right? That's
Okay.
what
Yeah,
it was
because
for
grandma and grandpa were there.
And so both sets of grandparents are there. And then next thing Aunt Jana
and all their
and all
kids.
their kids. So there's probably, I don't know, maybe 20 people in the house.
Yeah, probably.
And next thing I know, I get pulled into a little circle around the TV, and everyone starts singing Kumbaya in different languages, and we're watching home videos.
Naughty.
We're singing Wadi Wakanaka.
Yeah.
So as weird as your first, and this wasn't a first date.
We've been dating.
We've been dating for maybe
2
a week
months.
or 2 weeks, maybe.
It was in March if it was his birthday, so we would have been
so
dating
maybe
for 2 months.
No, a month. Before dated for the first time was
2.
a month. If it's
Because you
February
asked
4th.
me to be your girlfriend on February 4th.
Yeah, March is a month later.
You're right. Okay.
So
we'll
anyway,
cut that part out.
Good.
that's my experience of if we're gonna tell weird date stories.
And we turned on like the old home videos.
Yeah.
And we watched the Siberia trip video. I feel like you can't mention Siberia and then not explain how that is important to your story.
Then there's the kid that got hit by the car, and they said all that stuff. I'm just
Thanks for bringing that up on Valentine's Day.
I feel like I owe
Really
you an
appreciate it.
apology, Ben, for, oh my word.
toting little Alex around in the pool. It's very cute.
Yep. Alex loves her home videos. It's always been a thing.
Every time I go home. But talk about Siberia. 'Cause
Siberia.
that's very
So,
random.
when Trent and I met, or just after we met, I was going to be organizing a missions trip to Siberia, Omsk, Siberia. And I kept asking him to go on the trip, and it took a lot of persuasion. And finally, he decided.
My schedule was pretty full. So
He decided at the last minute, we had to drive downtown to Chicago to the embassy to expedite his passport. That was fun. But anyway, we were on this missions trip together in Siberia. And while we were there, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And we actually had our first kiss.
Wow.
Ew,
International kiss. Wow.
Yep.
So,
A date in Moscow. We went to a
The
circus in Moscow. That was kind of our first, everybody knew we were dating date. So
Wow.
we're
You kissed on the
international.
first date?
We like to get around.
Mm-hmm.
You kissed on the
Yep.
first date?
Oh, no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no. But
No,
But
they
we
seeing each
we
other,
had
but
been
that's when they became
friends
official.
Okay.
forever.
we met in December, and this trip was in July, end of
Okay.
July into August. So we had been friends that whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today is actually February 4th when we're recording this is the anniversary of when Ben asked me to be his girlfriend. We were also at the beach. Like we went to the beach a lot. We were sitting in his Eno, which is a hammock,
Yep.
and he asked me to be his girlfriend. I thought he was about to break up with me, so I was sick. I could barely eat dinner that night. I was so sick to my stomach. I thought it was over because he was being so quiet, and then out of nowhere, I was like, "Oh yes, yes, that's better than what I thought was happening right now."
Now here we are with Split Podcast, Valentine's Day Magic.
Yes.
As I think your followers know, and as you well know, Dad is a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on a double date to a Chicago Blackhawks game. But of course, the timing wasn't right. Like we didn't plan parking and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, getting parked and then running into the arena, and as we're getting up to the security checkpoint, which at that point was just like a turnstile thing.
And people had normal tickets back then. Somebody would look at your ticket and say, you can go in. There was no scanning, none of that stuff.
And you can hear the national anthem start. And so Dad is just like panicked. We've got to get in there.
It was playoff hockey. We
And
had to get in there.
he's going through one turnstile with his best friend Kent, and I think Kent State followed them. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go one turnstile over, hoping that we all get through at the same time. And so I get up and hand my ticket, and the lady's like, this ticket isn't for tonight's game. And I look down at the ticket, and I look up, and I can barely see
Woo.
Trent, Kent, and Kent State. Like I can't even see them. They were just so gung ho to get in to see the national anthem that there I am left. And she's like, "This is for a different playoff game."
They named the games by letters.
A,
game A, B, C, D. Well, we were at game B.
And our ticket was for D.
Kent bought the wrong tickets.
But did everybody else got in?
Yeah, because that person that we were, if she would have stayed in
My
line.
ticket checker was fastidious with the date.
Yeah. And so, well, and then we got in. Finally, we got you in.
Well,
I don't know how. We had to rebuy tickets.
We had to rebuy tickets.
And they
but
were standing room only.
It sure took a while for Trent to realize that I was not with him and come all the way back. So there I am just standing at the turnstile waiting for him to realize I'm stuck and can't get in.
Have you ever been at the United Center when they do the national anthem? It is awesome. People just yell the whole time from the first drop of the note to the end, to the last one. It's people just yell, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Wouldn't want to miss that.
I'm sorry, Natalie, if you have to wait outside in 12-degree weather. I'll be back in 3 to 5 minutes.
Did you guys not get in at all, or did they end up?
We bought standing room only tickets.
We bought the standing room only tickets.
And did not get refunded on the other tickets.
And then Dad starts scoping out empty seats that are closer to the ice.
Like I want to do.
And he's like, those seats have stayed open for a long time. And he said to me and Kent State, hey, you guys go. And because they never question girls, you go get in, get the seats. And once we see that you're settled, we'll just come and say we're joining our dates. So yes, then he sends me like sheep to the slaughter to try to sneak in that level 2 level to get in. And we did. We got in and we got the seats because they didn't question me and the other girl. And then sure enough, the guys joined us. And this is where it actually started to get better. The the game went into triple overtime.
3 overtime.
So we got to see two hockey games for the price of one.
Oh no, actually for the price of 2.
For the price of 2.
We got 2 hockey games for the price of 2. But
That-
the parking was for the price of 1. So think about the money we save there.
That is true.
Pretty good.
That is true.
So,
wow.
yep,
I don't think
that's
I'd
a
ever
good
heard that story.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right.
So
Mission to the game.
in honor of Valentine's Day, I wanted to talk about love languages, but not the 5. Are there 5? Yeah, the 5 that we're used to hearing about. Okay. Your unconventional love language that is not in the book about the 5 love languages. So I think the 5 are words of affirmation, quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service,
and gifts.
Oh yeah, because that's not mine. So that's the one I always forget. But what are your real life love languages?
Well, I want to clarify because there's the love language that you speak to your spouse, and there's the love language that you hope to receive from your spouse. So which are what we hope to receive?
Either one. Whatever
Either?
you
Oh my gosh, you go first. I have
don't
to
even
think.
remember what
I'll
the
say
5
like my receiving is
Yeah.
not needing to make dinner. Like when he texts me and says, do you want to go eat out? Or, hey, can I bring Chick-fil-A home for dinner? Like my heart explodes and I'm
That'd be service,
so
right?
happy.
Or gift.
You must feel very loved.
It's like a gift, but I feel you, Alex, and you get that totally from your mama.
I do.
Am I supposed to go next?
You can.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I like the when we do things together that I like to do.
He's a
So
big quality
hiking
time
or
person.
Watching a game or reading or
Yes, I'm not. If I look at my phone during a football game, it's bad.
gotta be locked in.
I do.
Can't just be half there. You gotta be all the way there.
All in.
Half make dinner or half bring home dinner. I gotta bring home dinner.
Yeah. And we like to read together and we like rotate. Like I pick a book and then he picks a book. And right now we're on one of his books. It's taken us about 3 months.
Wow.
And we're on page 150 out of who knows how many. So we're reading
About 600.
We're reading the third book in the Dune series, like the movies.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
We're reading that
Absolutely.
and he just wants to read it every night and he
just wants to sleep through it.
he gets really offended for some reason when I fall asleep while he's reading. He'll be like, babe, were you listening? And I'm like, yeah, I was awake. And he's like, well, what did I just say? And there was one time, I don't know what I said, but it was.
There's been multiple times.
It might have been multiple. Maybe sleep is my love language, letting me sleep.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're growing. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We read 50 pages the other night.
Those are probably ours.
So what's your non-love language? Love language, man. Can't use one of the 5.
All right. I really would love to say the same as Alex with not having to make dinner, but just for the sake of variety, take me to the beach. That is my love language.
Beach. Yep.
And the sea glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roasting is her
For sea glass.
love language.
Walk with me and look for sea glass. And he knows it too. If it's been a rough week at work and Friday we leave work a little early and he'll just be like, should we head to the beach
Let's go to the
today?
beach. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
What a luxury.
I know. I was like, Mom, you would feel very deprived of love
Yeah.
here in Athens,
We
Georgia,
are.
where the beach is.
Don't get
It's
quite the same thing in Athens.
It's my Florida love language, so it's okay. I haven't always had it. I've definitely enjoyed it the past 3.5 years, so I'm super grateful.
Capri's love language is physical touch, as you can see.
I see that.
She
She just has to be involved.
She-
It's not really
yeah.
even physical touch. She just has to be.
She like if I am stirring a pot on the stove, she just has to.
Speaking of being noticed, and I know we have to get to your love language, but
Oh, yeah.
am I right that this is Ben's first time on the
yeah.
podcast?
Is that
It
right?
I feel like it was not heralded
So-
enough.
Here it is. Hey, everybody,
It's a big
Ben
deal.
is joining the podcast. You're guest number 4, 5.
Four if
Wow.
you count mom.
Yeah, 4. Guess
Me.
number 4.
Addison.
Troy.
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 Yep. Guess number 4. So you're in the top 5. You're rating up there pretty
It's
high.
a big deal. 'Cause
Honored.
You're Alex's other half.
Yep. Good.
How much am I getting paid for my appearance?
Oh, it
Nothing.
depends. I'm still trying to work on getting the sponsorships.
Okay.
So-
I'll read 3 chapters with you.
Three chapters.
There's your
3
payment.
chapters. There we go.
There you go.
You better get started now because she's going to
3
doze off in
chapters
about
awake or
20
3
minutes.
I will
chapters-
stay awake. I will
Okay.
stay awake.
There we go.
All right, Dad.
What's my weird love language? Probably, I don't know. I don't have one.
I think I know what yours is.
Take a guess. Tell me then, because I don't
I
think
think it's the opposite of quality time. You need to be alone sometimes.
Yeah.
And that fills your love tank. If someone lets you be alone, I think that is your love language. Not all the time. Like you still like being around people, but you just need that alone time.
Right. Well, that's a typical introvert. You can be out there socializing and making things happen, but very soon you're going to hit rock bottom and need a chance to recharge.
Yeah.
That's why I love painting, which I refer you back to episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like painting. It's a very lone thing to do. It's an activity. It's a lone activity. So, yeah, that might be it.
That's a good one.
I'm just going to ask some questions and you can guess. You're going to try to guess your spouse's answer. But
Okay.
so, like, let's say this one's for the girls. I'll ask the question. We have to come up with what his answer would be. He has to come up with his own answer in his head, and we'll see if it's the same.
Got it.
Sound good? Just simple. We'll just do a couple of these just for fun. All right. What is their biggest pet peeve?
So I'm thinking of what his is.
Let's let the guys go first. We'll let the guys go
Okay.
first. So, what is my biggest pet peeve? Dad, what is mom's biggest pet peeve?
I got it.
Go ahead.
Telling her to do something
Finish the sentence.
that she believes she's already going to do.
Oh.
Almost like we had this conversation today.
So I need clarification.
Yeah, give an example.
Yeah, here's an example. So 2 nights ago, I asked Alex, "Hey, we have a beta fish named Vita. So this is Sunday night. Hey, Alex, can you please clean Vita's fish bowl tomorrow when you get home?" "Yes, babe, I'll do it." "Okay, thank you." Get home. She wasn't feeling very well that night, whatever. Fish bowl's not clean. Okay, that's fine. Stuff happens. Last night, "Hey, babe, I understand it didn't get cleaned today. Tomorrow, can you please clean Vita's fish bowl?" "Yes, I'll do it." "Okay, perfect." Then today, "Hey, babe, just another reminder because it's dirty, it's nasty a little bit. Just a reminder, can we please make sure this gets done today?" "Babe, I was already gonna do that. You don't need to tell me what I'm doing. Like I'm already gonna do it." "Okay, well, I asked you 2 days ago to do it. I'm just reminding again. I want, this is something we agreed we were gonna get done."
That is my pet peeve. I was going to say you're chewing. You're loud chewing. But
Yeah, but that doesn't really affect you.
really, you hit the nail on the head with that.
Good.
All right. What do you think?
I would say Natalie's pet peeve is when people are inconsiderate. She likes to correct inconsideratedness around her. So if someone's inconsiderate, let's say her mom or dad or one of her kids, you, in a good way, you're seeking justice by trying to fix somebody that's inconsiderate. I think that's a pet peeve.
What were you going to say, Mom?
No, that's not it. You're not defensive, protective.
Mm-hmm.
But why am I that way?
I don't know.
Because I strive to be considerate
Yes,
for others.
you.
And not really family.
No, I'm talking
as
about like
much.
the restaurant or something. Like when
Yeah.
somebody's inconsiderate at a restaurant or standing in line
To
to
someone in
Disney
your family, yeah.
against someone in your family. That's probably beyond a pet peeve. Are we trying to be cute? If we're trying to be
I know.
cute, I don't know, but that's a pet peeve of yours.
That's
You
going
like-
deep. That's going deep.
I was
Order.
going to say dog drool on me.
Oh, well, that's, yes. Jeez.
I do not like every morning we
Yep.
sit outside and
This is
have our
true.
coffee and have devotions. And Ranger drinks a ton of water and walks over to me and just,
Because he's this big. He's at eye level.
and it
So,
just
yep.
drips.
You're
Or
right.
he'll nose bop me when I'm dressed for work. I don't like dog drool.
Just like dog.
But
food.
I guess I also do not like
In a good
people
way.
being.
Hey, Ranger's being inconsiderate. So
Yeah. Let's do another question, Alex, before this turns ugly.
okay, so this one's for me and Mom. What is his favorite movie? Think of your answer. I think I know this one. I feel good about this one. Do you feel good, Mom?
I feel good if I don't know. I feel like across the years it's probably changed. But this is what I remember when he says my favorite movie.
Mhm.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you go first this time.
Red Dawn.
Yep.
Oh.
If it's on, I will watch it. Not the new one. I'm sure it's
Old
fine.
Patrick
but
Swayze
the
is
old
like
Patrick Swayze
yum.
one is, if it's on,
He's
I'm watching it. The only other one I would have mentioned,
is Twister.
Twister. If Twister is on, I'm watching it
Yeah.
because
Did you
I
see the
love
new
tornadoes.
Twisters? Or
Huh?
Twisters? Did you see the new one?
And I liked it.
Oh,
It was a well done spin-off. Oh boy. It was a well done spin-off of the original. So I really appreciate it. They gave a tip of the cap to the old one. So
Yeah, but Twister
yeah.
is his other favorite,
Woo.
not
Okay.
Twisters.
I said spin-off.
We heard. That's great.
Okay,
Oh.
so I am pretty sure, unless it has changed, this is what I think you told me when we first started dating. Ben's favorite movie is La La Land.
I remember
No.
this.
And it's The
It's-
Dark Knight.
Yes, that's it,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, I think.
La La Land's in the top 5. Probably.
Okay.
I've heard
Okay.
that.
Dark Knight is it?
Okay. So I knew it was one of those two, but I really thought La La Land was number one. I felt. Were you just telling me that when we started dating to make?
Oh,
No.
No,
trickery.
you know what? Josiah and Tyler love
Mhm.
La La Land.
They feel very strongly
It's a
about
good
that
movie.
movie. It's amazing. Dad, have you seen that one?
Nope.
I'm
It's a good one.
curious.
Tonight, you got some
I
homework.
was
Yeah,
too
maybe.
busy watching Twister.
For Valentine's Day, maybe we'll watch La La Land.
We'll see. I was too busy coming up with Twister puns spin-off.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So now this one is for the guys.
Okay.
What was her first impression of you when you first met?
Well, obviously. No. Well, probably the first time you knew I existed was when I was singing. So it was probably, oh, he sings. That's probably.
It was
first.
more than that. I was like, who is that?
Well,
There you go.
Yeah.
there you go. I sang, and it's one of your favorite. I sang "Oh Holy Night"
Oh.
That is your favorite
on
Christmas
a
song,
Christmas
Mom.
Eve, and that's the first time we met.
Yeah.
Been downhill since then. It went from quirky to weird to, I don't know. What do you think
It's
of me now?
great.
No, it's good.
It's great.
So yeah, I would say he's a singer. That was her first thought. He sings.
And she was also thinking he's a looker, right, Mom? That's
Oof,
It was.
absolutely. Look at these
Okay.
glasses.
Yeah, well, the first time we met was kind of awkward. So
shout out to Josiah.
Yeah, I don't know. You probably were just very awkward. It was probably less about me. It was more about the situation.
Yes.
But I was ushering, so she might. If you were a singer, I was an usher, and so she might have thought, "Oh, this is an usher." I don't know.
You were
He sounds-
nicely dressed. You used to dress like really sharp. Mom really liked that
Yeah, I
about
did
you.
used to do that.
Because Mom would text me. Mom would text me, Ben looks very nice today. And I would say, Ben who? Because she was trying to get me to date you. And she would take pictures of the back of your head in church
Mhm.
and send them to me.
I remember the first time you met and being across the room going, oh my gosh, oh, they're talking. Oh, I remember.
I do too.
Not the best. So what was my second impression of you then? If the first one doesn't really count.
Blown away.
Very nice. Good response.
It was better the second time. It was better. All right. Well, that was fun. Anything else we want to talk about Valentine's Day related? Bring on the Reese's hearts.
Yeah, talk
Those
about
are the
Reese's
best.
Heart.
Something cool about Valentine's Day, we always have a discussion like a week before. Now, granted, we're 30 years in. You guys are 2.5, almost 3.
Mhm.
But somewhere along the way, we started having a discussion a week out. Are we exchanging gifts, or are we just going to do an activity together? It's like we want to know what it is, because there may have been a couple of years where one would do things and the other wouldn't, and there might be a little bit of disappointment. And so then we're just hashing it out ahead of time. We know exactly what the expectations are, and we're not constantly staring at the pillow on the bed to see if a card is propped there, because we already decided we're not exchanging cards this year.
Cards are the
So-
hardest. That's the most difficult thing. Cards are difficult.
Are
Then
you-
you have to write something on the inside. Oh, it is very difficult.
Our anniversary this year was during basketball camp. So I did not even think about, I think we went out to eat, but cards never crossed my mind. He started it. It was so sweet because it was like the day of, and I think we realized like we hadn't even thought about that. All we had paper wise in our house are like little 3x5 note cards.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote me the sweetest note on there. And then I was like, oh, shoot. So I ran and grabbed a 3x5 card and wrote mine. And that was our second anniversary card exchange. So
Good
yeah,
memories.
maybe we should talk.
That'd be helpful. Smart.
That is smart. So we don't have another 3x5.
Make a plan.
Sit
Make a
down.
plan. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
It takes a guy who's not, I mean, the person in our marriage who may not be the best at gift giving and figuring all that out gives me a heads up.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And I have to be honest, I know we kind of took a tangent there onto anniversaries and stuff, because to be honest, Valentine's Day, I love you every day. I don't need one day to say it. And so you kind of get into that, is it just a Hallmark occasion for cards and candy and all that kind of stuff? So we probably downplay Valentine's now. I mean, it was bigger when we were dating and engaged and stuff, but now it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, did you guys do the little where you would decorate a box and do the little bitty Valentines that you had to give to every kid? So you'd
Oh,
have
like when you're in school.
yeah, you'd have like Batman and Robin Valentines.
I never did a
And you
box.
decorate a
I
box.
used to do the little kid Valentine thing, like the little tiny picture cards about
Yep.
Yeah.
big, and
They,
you
like,
write
fold in
something
half.
on, and maybe you stick a sucker or a tiny thing of Skittles or M&Ms or something like that on it.
Yep.
Those are all
That was a
fun.
good time. I remember that. Which is the greatest Valentine's candy?
What?
Oh, Reese's
What
hearts.
is it? What'd you
They're
say?
they're not Pez, but I always like those little heart that said "I love you" or
Oh.
the
Conversation
yeah, the
hearts. They're
conversation. Yeah,
I'm
I like
sweet
those.
on you.
Yeah,
Little,
fan of those.
those are good.
Yeah.
I can't eat those. I think Reese's Hearts have an outstanding ratio of chocolate and peanut butter.
Those are
True.
good.
I may have
Very
eaten
good.
one of those today, or 3. Anyways, before we go, so we ask all of our guests on the podcast to, because it's the Please Don't Call Me podcast, and it's all based around dad not making phone calls. Can you tell everybody how many phone calls you made in the last week? He already looked it up.
He looked it up already. 'Cause
Made
Made or
in-
received,
Yes.
I got 63. Some of those are because certain people didn't answer the phone, so the time.
I was asleep.
And so sometimes I have to call multiple times to, hey, wake up.
63 is a gigantic number. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, that even makes me nervous. That's a lot.
What
But
was your last week? Did you count?
No, but the week that I counted for the episode, didn't I have 66?
That's crazy.
Oh, did you? Oh, I don't even remember. I thought you had. I don't even remember.
I need to go back and look. I thought it was
Someone
a
will
really
actually us, so don't worry.
All right. Well, this is a nice little double date
It
via
was.
the podcast platform that we use. So thank you, Ben, for joining.
It was
Yeah.
good to see you.
Thanks for
Natalie,
that.
thank you for joining.
You're so welcome.
You're like on a rotation now. This is pretty epic.
My second time.
You're here a lot. So that's exciting.
I'm a regular.
Alex, I see you every week, and it's a joy as always. I'm considering watching Twister right now. You know what?
La
I'm
La
gonna be
La Land.
with my time. I'm going to consider coming up with some more puns for the movie Twister. I think that would be fun to do. Let's do a group activity, shall we?
No, let's watch La La Land.
La La Land. Is there a lot of singing and dancing involved?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
good. It's good. It's not.
I'll give it a go. On Ben's recommendation, I'll give it a go. So should you, podcast world. So, all right, everybody, have a happy Valentine's Day.
Yes. Happy
Um,
Valentine's Day, you too.
Thanks. You guys too.
Thank you.
Love you all. See ya. Bye.
Bye.